Recording in progress, and we are about to start our summer series webinar with participation of IFSA representative Lillian Reed. Lillian, can you just give us a couple of hello, so we know that you're there, we can hear you, and
hi there.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you coming over, spending this time with us. Here's a brief introduction. Lillian Reed is a Director of Institutional Engagement for IFSA, and IFSA stands for Institute for Study Abroad, a nonprofit study abroad organization. She has worked in international education for 15 years, and she has been with IFSA for 5 years. Lillian studied abroad in Ireland during college on a semester and Jan term program, and later spent time in Italy on an archaeological dig. Wow. Have you found something, Lillian, during your archaeological dig?
Yeah, I found broken pottery from the Romans.
Wow. Okay. I also see that you taught English in China and worked in England. Well, Lillian is excited to talk with all of us today about studying abroad and IFSA options for this exciting study abroad opportunities for all of you. Thank you so much. And Lillian, from here, the mic is yours.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for having me today. I'm excited to tell everybody about some IFSA programs. I decided to focus on IFSA programs that are related to business, marketing, and management today, but we do have options for all majors, but I'm just going to jump in here. There we go. So what we're going to cover today are some programs that I wanted to highlight specific to these majors, with some of the details about the different programs, what's included in the IFSA programs themselves, some scholarships and grants, and then how you should be researching and applying for your program. So we'll leave plenty of time for any questions or anything that comes up as a part of the presentation. So just going to jump in today. I did want to preface that IFSA has programs all around the world. We work in 19 countries, and we do have programs for all different majors. So if you're not a business major, then don't worry. If you're STEM, if you're, social science, anything else, we've got you covered. And we offer programs that are semester in length, a full academic year, summer programs, and we also have 4 Jan term programs, which are about 3 weeks long and a few locations. So we offer the traditional locations in Europe that you're probably familiar with. We also have some good options that are kind of off the beaten path in Latin America, as well as some exciting opportunities in Sri Lanka, in India, even in New Zealand. So we've got some neat opportunities that I really hope that Clear Lake students take advantage of moving forward. So the programs that I wanted to highlight today are semester options in Spain, Italy, and the UK, as well as a program in China and one in Argentina. And then I've got some Jan term programs to feature, as well as some example summer programs. So something to point out, just moving forward, all of these programs are taught in English, even if they're in a non-English speaking country. So if you're worried about your language abilities, don't fret. We've got you covered. Okay, so there are 2 programs in Barcelona, Spain that I wanted to highlight. One is called Study in Barcelona, and one is called Study in Barcelona Plus. And I'll get into the distinguishing factors between those programs, but these are opportunities for you to take classes in English that are broadly related to business, economics, and social sciences. Barcelona is a really fascinating place to study abroad because you have, of course, the Spanish culture that is, you're in Spain, but also it's in the Catalan-speaking region of Spain, and it has a very distinct identity. So that gives you kind of two cultural identities to learn about while you're in another country. You get to choose really interesting classes that IFSA has designed. So we've got a new one that I'm really excited about the economics of professional soccer. And it's using FC Barcelona as its primary case study of the economic impact of that team. They're multi-million, multi-billion dollar industry. And what does, they've got a great brand all over that's represented all around the world. So we also have some classes that we've designed around entrepreneurship, international finance, sustainability in a city like Barcelona, design thinking, which is a really important concept about how you approach problem solving in business, but also it's heavily used in the STEM industries as well. So that's just a sample of the classes that we teach. You also have the opportunity to replace one class with a credit-bearing internship so that you would go to about 8 hours a week. And we have placements that are essentially tailored to your academic background and skill set. So an example that we had related to business is there's a potential placement with doing research and analysis for an accounting and finance firm. So that's some really great hands-on practical experience for a student to do as a part of the great study abroad experience. So why not build your resume while you're spending your time abroad? The IFSA Study in Barcelona Plus program has all of the things that I just described, but it also gives you the opportunity to take one class at a Spanish institution, UPF, Universitat Pompeu Fabra, and that is a really well-known and highly regarded institution in Spain. It gives you the mix of just being with the IFSA students and the IFSA classes, but you also have this option to take classes with other international students and Spanish students. So it's a nice blend of both options. Mm-hmm. The IFSA Study in Barcelona program, which is just IFSA classes, does have, and the internship has a 2.0 GPA requirement. The Barcelona Plus option, which gives you the UPF class, does have a 3.0 GPA requirement because of the requirements of UPF. And on this program and the others that I'm going to highlight today, you primarily live in self-catered furnished apartments with other IFSA students. So now we're going to jump over to Rome. Rome is one of the most important global capitals in all of history. The Roman Empire was such an influence on the world that we still talk about it today. And it's really kind of a key part of our kind of what we describe. All roads lead to Rome. We talk about empires rising and falling. It's such a huge part of our contemporary life, all of these influences that happened in that place. So this is a program that is also taught in English. There is a requirement that you take 1 credit of essential Italian language on this class to kind of help you with the niceties. So Rome speaks English pretty much everywhere, but we want you to also be able to say hello, goodbye, ask where the bathroom is, order a coffee, kind of feeling more like a local instead of a visitor. But we also offer some other Italian language classes as well. So if you wanted to take a 3-credit Italian, beginning Italian class, you have that option. But for the most part, the classes that we offer that we've designed are related to management, communication, and social sciences. Like Spain, we have the option for you to replace a class with a credit-bearing internship, and that's going to be a commonality in all of these programs I'm telling you about because for business students and marketing management students in particular, that internship experience is super popular. So a sample type of placement that we have in Rome is there's a little independent cooking school that is looking for people to help with their social media outreach in English to promote their cooking school, but really to help them with some campaigns. So you're touching on marketing, social media management. It's a really neat opportunity. Mm-hmm. That, in addition to some of the exciting classes that we have, could make a really exciting semester. So the stuff that we teach in Rome are strategic communications in business, service operations management, which is a really important class for anybody thinking of kind of tourist industry careers in the future, intercultural communication in the global workplace, which is great if you're thinking about management, same with principles of negotiation. Then we have a sociology class, which is called Sociology of Consumerism. And I think that's, a peripheral class that might be interesting for a marketing student to really get in the what makes groups of people in society make consumer decisions. There's also a class called Italian Art, Power, and Influence. And this gets into how Rome was so important historically and how it sits today in kind of our contemporary life. So just like in Spain, you've got 2 options. We have the IFSA Study in Rome option, where you take classes just with the IFSA students, has a 2.0 GPA requirement. There's also the option to take an elective at LUIS, which is the short name for Libera Università Internazionale degli Studi Sociali. And I don't speak Italian, so I'm sure I've butchered it. But that is the top ranked political science university in Italy, which offers political science, business, and law classes. And they have a full suite of offerings in English. So this is a really great opportunity to spend time studying at a highly regarded Italian institution, as well as having your IFSA classes. And you also live in apartments on this program. So now I threw in a wild card in Europe. This is the Life Science Career Accelerator program. And even though it has life science in the title, I put it in because it is really fabulous for students who think they want to work on maybe the business side of a scientific industry. So if you maybe are a double major doing business and STEM, or management and STEM, marketing STEM, this is a really neat program to look at because the core class, the one class that's required on this program, is called Beyond the Lab, Leadership in Life Science. And it's looking at the broad industries that are related to life science. So maybe you're a biology and business student, you were thinking you were going to be pre-med, but you've changed your mind. Well, you could still work for a pharmaceutical organization or a medical device company. You could work for a nonprofit science education organization. Like there's all of these peripheral industries that touch on the life sciences that bring in people with all types of backgrounds. But one of the commonalities is they would love for you to have a little scientific knowledge. But you know, if you're thinking of the business side, you might become a representative of a pharmaceutical company. You'd have a sales role, but those roles are really helpful to have some sort of science knowledge as well. So, yeah.
A question here, will this program work well for healthcare administration majors?
Yeah, I think it would be a great opportunity depending on the requirements that they have, because again, you've got all of the healthcare industries as well. The core class is meant to give you kind of a better understanding or a broader understanding of industry, but also the leadership piece is based on what are the leadership skills that people need to have in order to be successful managers and leaders in the organization that they work with. And we designed this class with an organization called the Leadership Edge, which is based in San Diego, California. And they do executive training for scientists that are becoming kind of executives and leaders in industry. So they have 30 years worth of data about what different employers are looking for. So you participate in the Beyond the Lab class, you get a certificate from the Leadership Edge at the end of the program, which you can put on your resume that attests to your leadership training. And you also get to access these really cool classes that we're offering on this program. We've got some STEM related classes. I chose to feature some of the more businessy related ones and finance related ones. Like there's one all about new media and behavior trends, international political economy. We've got that international intercultural communications in the global workplace class is also taught in London. There's an entrepreneurship class. There's a British politics class, which looks at Brexit, and that has had such a huge impact on the finances of the UK and Europe. So there's really fascinating options. Starting in fall of 2022, we will also have credit-bearing internships, which are going to be 6 credits. So usually you would be working maybe like 12 to 14 hours a week. So you'd be replacing 2 of your elective classes. Just like the other programs, we've got the standard version, which just is IFSA classes and the internship. And then if you want the option to take a class at a London university, you can do the plus option and you can choose classes at Queen Mary, University of London, or City University of London. And City University of London is AACSB accredited. So it's really great for students doing a marketing business management degree.
Will this program work for undergrad or grad or both, or who is in focus for this program?
This would be undergraduate. All of the IFSA programs issue undergraduate credit. So occasionally we get a graduate student on summer options, but it tends to be mostly undergraduate students who do our semester programs.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, great question. So, okay, now we're going to jump over to Shanghai. We have a long-standing international business program These are all programs that we've designed and teach for IFSA students. So in China, there's a required core class all about China as an economic giant. And then there are electives on this track related to business, finance, and trade. There's like international money and finance, China as a global market, international trade, a Chinese perspective, operations and supply chain management, which I think is a fascinating class in China because so much of the supply chain in the US is related to China. This is another program where you can replace one of your electives with an internship. So one of our examples is we've had students who work on a marketing plan for a foreign company trying to enter a Chinese market. So in kind of using your on the ground experience of what you're seeing in Shanghai to inform what a marketing plan would look like for a new company. We also have some other tracks of Chinese programs in Shanghai. One is social science related and one is about kind of health policy. So students do have the option to choose some classes from those other tracks as well. I forgot to put the little housing thing on here, but this is also a scenario of apartment living in Shanghai, furnished apartments. Okay, I'm conscious of my time, so I'm going to jump over now to Buenos Aires in Latin America. So Buenos Aires is a fascinating Latin American capital with a really unique business and cultural influence. It has this fascinating meld of European culture as well as Latin America and even indigenous Latin America, like old Spanish culture, indigenous Latin American culture. It's really interesting place. They are at the forefront of human rights, actually. So we have a lot of students interested in that topic who go to Buenos Aires in particular. But we've got this business and economics track that we opened a couple years ago. You take all of your classes in English. And this is, I've highlighted the PLUS program, which means that you would have IFSA taught classes like globalization and economic challenges in Latin America, industrial organizational psychology, which is often something management students have to take, international business law, which is really a fascinating subject to look at in Buenos Aires because of all of their human rights laws that they have on the books, international finance, macroeconomic theory, trade. You would take these classes, but then you also have access to classes taught by two of our partner universities in Buenos Aires, which are taught in English, but they offer classes like international marketing, consumer behavior. They have a lot of business related classes. They also have some electives that are more related just to Latin America studies. So if you want to do this and focus most of your time on kind of business economics, stuff related to your major, but you're also like, I want to work on a minor, or I'm just interested in learning about the history of Latin America, you have those options as well. And like the others, you can replace one of your classes with a credit-bearing internship. So one of our internship placements is with a nonprofit that works to help support new ventures and new businesses. So it's an entrepreneurship, almost like a startup that helps other startups. So I think that's a really neat option for students to take advantage of. And this one does have a 2.5 GPA minimum. So I'm going to go through the Jan term programs pretty quickly. These are in one intensive class that you take in a 3-week winter break. These aren't necessarily related to business marketing and management, but I know that a lot of students in a Jan term are looking to take something to fulfill another requirement or just something that they're interested in. So in Mexico, we have multicultural psychology. In Costa Rica, we have an ecology and sustainable development class. In Barcelona, we have social media marketing. In the Age of Self, which I think is a fascinating class. And then in Rome, there's international political economy. So we're really excited. The dates and fees for this program are on the website already for January 2022. Two of these programs actually start at the end of December. So you would spend New Year's, like you spend Christmas at home, but New Year's overseas. And then two of them start after January. So that keeps in mind anybody who has to start classes kind of before MLK Day in the US or who starts classes after. So jumping over to summer program, I actually made this slide about summer program structure because we have
what are most popular, I guess, right? So
yeah.
What your experience tells you.
For summer or for Jan?
Summer.
Summer is quite popular, it's like the traditional destinations. Our programs in England, Peru, and Sri Lanka will actually be new for summer of 2022. So they'll be on the website soon. So it's something to keep checking back. The programs in China, Spain, Italy, India, and Argentina we've had for a long time, and actually Mexico. But the Mexico ones aren't related to business, so I left them off. But we've got, you can do 1 or 2 4-week sessions in these locations. Mexico and England have 3 session options, but we also offer 8-week internships in the summer. So you could do an 8-week intern or a class for a month and then spend another 8 weeks doing an internship to kind of package up a full summer experience, which would get you about 9 credits. So I think this is a good option. You can also mix and match if you wanted to spend session 1 doing a class in Spain on design thinking. You could do that, and then you could go over to Italy and take another session on sustainable tourism. Like, you can mix and match between locations if you're interested in that sort of comparative summer experience. So the internships in the summer are kind of tailored to your interest, and that's how the process works with everything. We try and find an option for students that meets their professional, academic, and long-term goals. So we put example placements, but we do try and meet the needs of the individual applicant through the process, and that's how it would look for summer as well. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in summer, to keep going to the IFSA website, which I'll have a slide about how you access that in the future. So what's included in an IFSA program? We're what you call kind of an inclusive program. So we build in your academic experience, your housing is always included, but we also plan excursions and activities and cultural engagements. We do an orientation with you to prepare you when you arrive on site, so you get to know your surroundings and the culture and the academic system. You have comprehensive medical insurance, health and safety support. We have staff in all the countries where we work, so you always have a contact to go with and who can help you with your personal and professional and academic goals. We also have a really neat online class called Exploring Community and Culture, which most students can take in most semester locations for no additional fee, but it really looks at comparing your experience that you might be having in Italy with the experience of a student in China or Latin America or Australia, New Zealand. At the end of your program, you get a transcript that's already converted to US credits, and our school of record is Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana, and then we don't charge any application fees. So for students interested in an IFSA program, I always encourage you, look on the program, start your application so you can look at all the application materials, and that'll connect you with some IFSA staff on our program advising team really early on. Scholarships and grants. So the big ones that I wanted to make sure that you guys learn about are the IFSA State School Grant. So you get $2,000 off any of the IFSA semester programs, or an academic year program, actually. Guaranteed, no separate application. We just reduce it from the program fee, which is on our website for every program. We also have some funding for first generation students. So you identify as a first gen. So for us, our definition is neither of your parents or guardians or people who raised you have a 4-year college degree. If they have a 2-year community college degree, that's fine, you're still eligible. But this is up to $2,500 in value, and it helps cover your airfare and the cost of a passport and your student visa if you need one for your relevant program. We also have something called a work to study grant. So we publish projects that we hire students to work on during the semester they are abroad, and you get a stipend. The stipend amounts vary by kind of how in-depth the project is, but it's not contingent on federal work study. So if you don't get any financial aid at home, that's fine. You can still apply for this. The projects range from being an official photographer for an IFSA program, helping take a video, or to doing some research for different IFSA teams. So for example, our health and safety team might have you going out in Buenos Aires and taking photos of the elevators in the public transportation area so that we have an idea of what a student with a mobility concern might have to navigate and if we need alternatives. So the projects vary and those get posted on our website. We do have
I remember how we discussed that first time, and
yeah.
I still think that work and study grant is one of the most unique options for students when they apply for education abroad. Well, I still learning about scholarship and grants in the field of education abroad, but this is really truly unique, and it appeals really to myself when you can uh, go and study abroad at the same time you can bring another value to yourself, to the company, and to those who will be watching your videos and see photos you're sharing from your work and study experience. So yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great program, and you're right. It does give you another thing to put on your resume, and different people at IFSA supervise the work, and so you get a great recommendation for some, a professional who works in our field at the end of your project. So a couple other external scholarships that I always want students to look at are the Fund for Education Abroad scholarships. We do have a diversity scholarship that we fund that is between $1,200 and $10,000, depending on how long your program is. And for the Fund for Education Abroad, that one's important because you can submit one FEA application, but then it applies to you for as many scholarships as you are eligible for. So if you're an IFSA student, I always say go through FEA. It might not be the IFSA scholarship that you end up with, but you might get a different scholarship through that process. And then, of course, for any students that are Pell eligible, so have a Pell Grant in their financial aid package, I always say look at the Gilman scholarships. The IFSA programs, even the summer programs, are long enough to be Gilman eligible. And I know Larissa is excited about Gilman also.
Yes.
And yeah, so
Of course.
it's a great option. There are more scholarships on our website, so be sure to keep looking on that as well. There are some that are program specific. University of Auckland in New Zealand has some additional funding for first generation students as well, as an example. So 2 places to direct your attention kind of as you get further in your program search. One is the IFSA website. So that's where you see all the programs listed. You can search just for winter term or summer or a semester program. You can also see all the program dates and the prices for upcoming semesters, as well as our estimates for personal costs. We have an enhanced kind of program search actually, so you can compare programs side by side if you're trying to decide between just a few. Sorry, I had a restart pop up on my computer, but it's postponed. The other system is called Chart, and this is our searchable course database where you can make an account saying you're a Clear Lake student, so you'll see all of the IFSA programs, but you can go in here, and if you're looking for a certain class to fulfill a degree requirement at home, you can do a program search and look through all of the IFSA course catalog, or you can filter it by different locations you're interested in and see what you can find. So if you need an upper division marketing class, you could look for that. If you're a STEM double major, you could look for an engineering class or some other class that you need. You could fill it in the system. If you can't find a class that you need, you could put in a request, and IFSA will look for it all around the world where we work and send you potential results. So those are really great options and resources to look at. The other thing is just to review your home campus study abroad policies, paying attention to any application deadlines, and also looking at your home campus scholarships and financial aid to see what can go with you. So one other thing is, if you're on the fence, I would say even consider starting your application now just so you can see what it entails. The application is free, it's fully online, and you get to it by just clicking on the little apply now button on the top of the home page, or each individual program page has an apply now feature. Whenever you start an application, the IFSA program advisor will reach out to you to kind of welcome you and ask if you have any questions. So that's another great way to get more information. Anything that you need for the application, you're going to have uploaded into the portal or sent on to IFSA. And then once you're kind of accepted on your program, you have 10 days to confirm. There is a deposit that we collect about 10 days or 2 weeks after you confirm your place. It's $500, but that gets applied to your IFSA program fee. If you're reliant on financial aid, we also have some options for you to defer payments like that until after your financial aid is released. So that was it. I went a little over my time, but people are very welcome to reach out with questions to the study abroad email address at IFSA. And then we've got some great social media, especially on Instagram and YouTube, which have excellent options for students.
Well, thank you very much, Lillian. That was very interesting and a great refresher for me because I'm familiar with IFSA programs, and not just familiar, but we have one of our students here today with us who applied for IFSA program, and I would like to maybe invite her to speak with us about her experience.
They give you a step-by-step guide to do it. They tell you what you need to finish. And then the whole time I had someone from IFSA reach out to me, and if I had any questions about the application process. Like, I did have some questions, and they've made it very easy. The application maybe in total took me about not even a week. They make it very simple. So I'd really recommend going with them for your program.
Okay. Are you planning to do that work study thing, like blogging, vlogging, maybe writing something? I'm a big fan of this. That's why I'm just asking you about this.
Yeah, so right, I didn't apply for that. I was going to for my last program, but because I did apply late, because I had 2 programs before this get canceled because of COVID. So no, I haven't had time to apply for that.
That's okay.
Yeah, Ashlyn has been very flexible in her study abroad journey, and we are all very excited for you to get abroad this fall.
Thank you. I'm really excited too.
All right. Thank you very much, Ashley, and I appreciate your deciding to join us. Appreciate that you come by and shared your story. Well, I'm sure we will be in touch, and I just can't wait to to see you there on IFSA program in London. And I know that was quite a journey for Ashlyn, who applied for 2 programs before, which were canceled, and only IFSA program still going on. And every time when I received updates from IFSA office, I am like, oh my God, please no, no, everything is fine. Everything is fine. And we just very, very happy for this process being easy for you. And you also IFA recipient. It's International Education Fee Award from UHCL. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So there is a scholarship through UHCL that you can apply for. It's very simple. All you need is a recommendation from a professor on campus, and then you submit I believe your grades along with an essay. And it's all available through e-services. And because of that scholarship, I'm actually able to go on this trip. I was very hesitant because of the price, of course, but UHCL, it really helped me out, and I'm very thankful for that.
That's great. Thank you so much. I also know, yes, the prices for London programs are probably the champions on how high they are.
Definitely.
Yes, and of course, you need to apply for all possible programs. Just apply, apply, apply. Yes, and well, thanks for kind words. And I just thank you so much. Just couple of housekeeping items. On September 29th, we will have fall education abroad fair, and Lillian and IFSA are invited, of course, and I'm sure they will be representing IFSA here on our campus. So please make sure everybody come over and say hello, ask questions if you have any. Well, I guess by that time, Ashlyn, you will be hopefully in London, but still, and we will have you like a good example, like at the IFSA desk or table or booth, they will be able to say like, we actually have UHCL student in London right now. Yeah, so it will be September 29th. And also, I would like to invite all our participants tomorrow, those who didn't participate in our one-on-one session, to participate in this education abroad, introduction to education abroad. It will take place here on Zoom at 6 p.m. And thanks again, everybody. Lillian, do you want to say something else?
No, just thank you for having me today. And I'm really excited to have Ashlyn on our program this fall. And we look forward to having more Clear Lake students join us.
Oh, of course. Yes. Yeah. Let's do it. Yes. By far we had very pleasant and productive experience with IFSA, and we're looking forward to sending more students, not just to Europe, but also to Latin America. I was very happy that you mentioned Buenos Aires, you mentioned Peru, Argentina, Peru. That's exciting. And those destinations are less expensive and more affordable, which is great. Okay, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Bye.
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask our participants if there are any questions, so so got carried away. Guys, if you have any questions, please send them leave them in a chat box, or Maria, maybe you have a question. I see that you joined us later. Can you just leave your UHCL ID, if you don't mind, in the chat box? Also, if that's your great chance to catch up with Ashlyn and ask her questions directly. How was it, her experience with the with IFSA? How was your experience with UHCL? Okay. No questions so far, but we will have this recording posted on our website,